in the ring, feel the adrenaline rush, throwing fists and kicks, the pain we can't hush. And then they find us, we're the real tough guys, breaking down barriers, we aim for the skies. Into the octagon like a warrior I stand, trading blows, taking hits as I command. The art of combat, I'm ready to go. Submission, knockout, that's how I flow. Unleashing the fury like an untamed beast, locked in a cage where strength is released. Striking precision, grappling with might, the golden octagon, the stage we ignite. Unleashing the fury like an untamed beast, locked in a cage where strength is released. Striking precision, grappling might, the golden octagon, the stage we ignite.
And we are live. Welcome to the Golden Octagon MMA Podcast with your hosts, Matt and D Rose.
And what's going on, y'all? Welcome to the Golden Octagon MMA Podcast. My name is Matt. D Rose is right over there on that side of your screen. We are coming down to the end. 2 fight cards left. We got one, the last pay-per-view this weekend, and then we got one next weekend, and that is it for the year. Chubbs, what are you doing, man? Back up. My dog's over here. I don't know what he's doing. We hope you are all doing right. I don't know what he's doing. We hope you are all doing very well tonight. Happy Wednesday, everyone. Thank you for stopping by. If you don't mind, be so kind. Hit that thumbs up button for your boys. D Rose, how you been over the past week, my guy?
Hey, thanks.
Oh, wow. This is how we're starting out. This is how we're starting out. Oh, no. All right. Well, we got D Froze in the building right now. I don't know if he understands. Hopefully he's not just talking, but anyway. Hope you all are doing well. I will go ahead and hit the chat real quick, and while D-Rose pops back in here. Anyway, we got Antoine here. Shout out Antoine with the Let's Go Boys. We got Antoine also saying, hope you all are having a great probably week thus far. How's Texas now that you're settled in, Matt? It's all right, man. I'm in an apartment, and I just now had a house, so it's taking some getting adjusted, getting used to all that. So, could be better, but it's okay. It's a little cold these past few days. I moved to Texas to escape the cold, and it's like 40, so I'm cold still, so that's not cool. But aside from that, just eating a lot of food, so probably going to get fat while I'm here. But it's okay, Well, what else do I have to do? And, coming down to the end of the year, I'm going to head to Jamaica for Christmas, so that's cool. And then at the beginning of the year, I think I'm going to be going to my first card show here in Texas. So that'll be cool as well. So kind of got a lot going on these next couple months, but I'm, excited to be back here, being able to make some videos and all that. So I'm excited. We got Austin in here with a happy Wednesday, everyone. Hope this week is going okay so far, boys. I appreciate it, Austin. Thanks, man. I hope your week is going well as well. Also, hell storylines to discuss. Yeah, I know we could be here forever, Antoine, but I'm not going to be here by myself talking about it with no one. So let's wait on D Rose to get back for that. Also, happy belated Thanksgiving. I missed last week. It's okay, Antoine. No worries, dude. Hope you had a good Thanksgiving. And indeed, Chubbs, he was trying to get under my desk while I'm sitting here. It didn't make any sense. We got Savage Breaks in here. I'm so happy. Thank you. In the words of Tatsuru Taihara. Indeed. right when he starts, dude. I have no clue why it happens. No clue. Yeah, it's freezing in the south of Winter Road. You'll get used to it. All right, we got D Froze back in the building. What's up, man?
We are back. I think we're good.
Hopefully, man. Antoine says 35 in Atlanta. Love the content vibe. I appreciate it, man. Thank you for your kind words. I'm so happy. Thank you. Are y'all watching any TV shows lately? I've been watching The Chair Company on HBO Max. Pretty interesting show. I laugh a little bit. It's so dumb, but fun show. And then Texas food is the best barbecue in the world. That is quite possibly the truth, but I just eat a bunch of tacos, man, if I'm going to be honest. Anyway, D-Rose, now that you're back, how was your week this past week, man?
Yeah, let's hope it actually stays intact this time. But no, honestly, I had to abort mission. I'm on the phone at this point. I was like, man, we got to make this work somehow. So, no, but everything is great over here. Everything's been great this past week. Thanksgiving is, as I said, one of my favorite holidays, and we strung that turkey out for a good little bit. We actually, I ended up taking some of the leftovers on Sunday and making like a turkey noodle soup type, and we strung it out for as much as we could, but then we turkeyed ourselves out to the point where, we don't want to see no turkey for a good little bit now.
Hey, man, it's quite possibly one of the worst meats you could possibly eat at any time of the year, much less have to eat it one time a year. I'll leave all that to you, man. But I'm glad you had a good Thanksgiving. Dave says, Merry Christmas, my fellow filthy effing animals. Yeah, well, shout out, Dave. I appreciate you stopping by tonight, Dave. There wouldn't be the Golden Octagon MMA podcast without Dave, and I'm so thankful to gaze upon D Rose and Steve.
Man, the Chromebook's doing me dirty, man. I don't know what we're doing. Taking me out here. I'm on my phone. I'm having to do all this extra stuff, and yeah, it
ain't turning.
Quite irritating, but we're gonna make it.
It ain't turning, D Rose. You gotta fix yourself. You gotta turn your phone.
Let me try to. I'm trying to set it up to where.
You can't be serious.
I can't.
You can't.
I'm trying to.
Serious.
It keeps falling. I got it on the charger because my phone needed to charge, and I cannot get this thing set straight to save my life. It keeps falling.
Oh my goodness.
It's a whole debacle over here, man.
I was like, there's no way he's putting his phone upside down right now and thinking it's going to work. Like, you're going to just be upside down completely. What a shit show this has turned into. Hopefully we can get this shit going. Anyway.
It has been an absolute mess.
Anyway. Let's get into this show. On today's show, what you guys have to look forward to was there was no fights this past weekend, so there ain't going to be no bean eating. We apologize. But what we do have to look forward to is our UFC news and fight announcements and a lot to kind of go over. So me and D-Rose will be talking back and forth a little bit, and then we will be going over at the end our UFC 323 Merab Dvalishvili versus Piotr Yan, as well as our Alexandre Pantoja versus Josh Van, the entire pay-per-view, the entire prelims, and the early prelims. We got our preview, our picks, and our predictions for every single fight on the card as well. And we'll end out the show with D Rose's Dog of the Week. Don't forget it. And he's walking on the tightrope this week, D Rose. One more and you're done, buddy. You've lost 2 in a row. Once we lose 3 in a row, it's done. I've already expressed to you who I thought your dog of the week was, because that's my dog of the week. But the way that you reacted, I don't think that's your dog of the week now. But I have 4 dogs on this card that I've already put in a parlay, like I think $35 to win like $1,200. It's just a 4-dog money line parlay. So, it's probably one of them. But with that being said, let's get into the show real quick. And Dave says, "Rip Patty, dude." let's get into this news, D-Rose. So let me share my screen right quick. And something that popped up right as I pulled up my Instagram, and we can just talk about that first because it's right here. Wow, this sucks, dude. And not that I hate the fight. More of that. What's going on? Let me remove. I got to remove some stuff from the studio. There we go. More of it just being like, wow, I was really hoping that Natalia Silva was going to fight for the title next. Not that I'd hate the fight or I don't think she's going to beat Rose, but I'm just like, damn, like when are they giving Natalia this title shot, dude? What's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, no, I mean, I told you that I thought that there was going to be a chance that Natalia was going to have to fight one more time, and it doesn't surprise me too much. I think they just want to try to get her a big name. I know she had the Grasso fight, but with this series with Valentina and taking on Grasso, all those fights, and then of course they wanted to make the super fight with wel'll, so it's just had Silva on the back burner. I was able to hold it in. It had Silva on the back burner for so long, and she's been well deserved of a title shot by now. But there's I was not able to hold it that time. Was not able to get it. But there's been a slew of fighters here recently who have not been able to get their title shot, and Natalia Silva is unfortunately one of those who's well deserving of one, but not necessarily getting one just yet.
Yeah, I agree. And then let's just jump into it like this. The bombshell was dropped on us that we were talking about this last week, dude. Like, what's it going to be? And dude, I would need to go back and listen to exactly what I said, but I'm pretty sure it was going to be like they're going to leave Armin out because they hate him, and like it's going to be Ilya versus, Patty versus fucking Justin for the interim. And dude, like literally a day later, that's exactly what happened. Is that what I said last week, or like I'm kind of wrong there?
I remember we had talked about Ilya potentially taking a break.
Yeah,
and we were both throwing around like theories.
Like I was like Armin, Patty, fucking Justin Gaethje for the fucking triple threat match.
Right. And yeah, so I know we were throwing around theories and stuff like that, but I did not think the only reason why I did not think interim title was going to be a possibility, because look at all the recent champions who the UFC has talked to into like, hey, you go ahead and vacate the title and you'll get the title shot. Jamal Hill was one that he vacated his title because he had the Achilles injury. Yuri Prohaska is one who vacated his title because he ended up having the shoulder injury. All these fighters that have moved up weight classes with Islam and Ilya moving up, and now all of a sudden you want to do an interim title with this fight for all of them. It just didn't make too much sense to me. The fight with Patty and Justin makes sense just in terms of I do think that both of them are technically one fight away from a title. So it kind of makes sense just to put them in an interim title shot. I know you want to kick off that Paramount card with a banger, and there could be a chance with Nunes being off for 2 years that maybe that Kayla Harrison Amanda Nunes fight turns into a little bit of a snoozer. Versus we've never seen Justin Gaethje in a boring fight ever. So his action, the action in his fights are always going to deliver, but it just felt weird for this particular fight to get the interim title when there were other cases where there could have been an interim and there wasn't.
I think it has all to do with the Justin Gaethje situation, because he was saying that he was going to retire if he didn't get the next title shot. So it's like the UFC didn't want him to retire, but at the same time, something tells me that Ilya didn't want to fight Justin Gaethje next, probably because he probably didn't like deserve the fight, because he's coming off of like one win right now. So it's like he
wanted the Patty fight. Let's be real. He wanted the Patty fight. He doesn't want the Gaethje fight because he wants the Patty fight.
Exactly. And the UFC is like, no, you're like, you got to fight Justin Gaethje. Like, and he's like, maybe I just have some family stuff going on. So it's like, I don't understand the interim, because it's like, dude, like, does this need to be for a belt? Like, you're going to take off until midway through next year? Okay, that's 6 months, dude. Cool. Like, you don't have to make an interim, like a whole interim belt, because you're going to take off 6 months. Like, that's just not,
Yeah.
I just don't understand the whole interim situation. But I think the interim is there because of Justin Gaethje.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense just because he was adamant about fighting for a title. It just feels weird that everybody else had to vacate their title, but not Elia. And he's trying to take a year off, and he's doing it for family reasons. But we're talking, again, injury stuff with Jamal Hill and Yuri Prohaska, and you made them vacate because the division had to move on. God bless whatever Elia Taporia is going through, but is that not the motto of the UFC still? That the division has to move on? Why can he not vacate? And then whatever he goes through, God bless he goes through it, and he gets a title shot when he comes back. I mean, what's the difference? I guess that's my thing. Why can't you just make Elia vacate like everybody else has had to, including himself, to move up to 155?
Right, dude. And also, the other, well, not on that card, but the other headliner of UFC 325 is going to be Alexander Volkanovski versus Diego Lopez, dude. That is one that I don't hate the fight because I'm a Diego Lopez fan, but like, I don't really understand. I do understand, but I know that's what no one wanted, man. Like, you have Lerone Murphy there, you have Movsar there, but I'm not saying like Lerone Murphy didn't have a sick knockout in his fucking last fight. But it's like UFC thinks he's kind of fucking boring, dude, and it just is what it is. And same for fucking Mobstar. So at the same time, it's like they have star power in Diego Lopez with a huge fan base right behind him. This is rumored to be Volk's last fight too. So it's like they want the title to like transfer hands to someone that has fans, that has fucking star power, not someone like Movsar Evloev that no one gives two shits about, dude. So I understand the matchmaking. It just kind of sucks for Movsar and for Lerone, because it's like, man, they both kind of deserve that title shot, man. But I ain't a hater, because Diego Lopez is one of my favorite fighters in the UFC. What's up, man?
Yeah, no, well, and I guess my biggest thing is, and we were watching the Lerone Murphy and Aaron Pico fight together, and I was literally into making my point. And what I was saying, it was literally seconds before the knockout. I didn't even get to finish the point I was making because Lerone Murphy knocked him out. But my point going into it was he was in a lose-lose situation, because he was fighting somebody coming over from Bellator, who a lot of people, and myself included, I was excited about him coming over, but a lot of people had questions about his skill, and knowing that he was very chinny. Lerone Murphy delivered one of the, you could say that was a knockout of the year. Like, that is going to be on like highlight reels for a while, that spinning back elbow that he landed. Even with a highlight reel knockout, he was not able to get a title shot off that. But damn well, if Aaron Pico had done the same thing to Lerone Murphy, Aaron Pico's getting the title shot. So it's just like, it's not even necessarily that delivering on highlights or anything like that. It's just, I guess, really, if the UFC really likes you or not. I mean, I know nobody really cares about Lerone Murphy, but at least he's willing to stand and bang for the most part. Like, I mean, I know some of his fights can be pretty lackluster for the most part, even though he strikes. But I mean, he delivered on a highlight reel and still wasn't able to get the title shot. And that was kind of my whole point going into that Pico fight, was that it was a lose-lose for him, and now he's in a position where he's going to have to probably fight again. I see him and Aljo kind of chirping back and forth with one another. Movsar Evloev, I mean, he hasn't even really called for a title shot, so it makes you wonder if this was kind of known for a while now. and maybe they're just waiting for the official announcement so they can try to make their next move. But yeah, I mean, me personally, I like Diego, and of course, I like to see the fight. But I just, Volk's last fight was against Diego Lopez, so it's just like I didn't see enough of what Diego had done to put himself back in a title shot over Lerone Murphy or Mavzar. But I mean, that knockout against John Silva was pretty sweet. So maybe that was worthy enough where you could just show that spinning elbow highlight reel, and maybe that's enough to get people excited. But it's just weird.
Yeah, man, it is odd. But let's look at the rest of the first pay-per-view of the year here, UFC 324. It's headlined by Patty versus Justin, co-main evented by Kayla Harrison versus the returning Amanda Nunes, dude. I know me and you both have thoughts on that. What do you think the odds are going to open up at, D-Rose, for that fight? Or I'm sure they're already there somewhere.
Potentially. That is really hard to call. I think Amanda would be a slight favorite. I don't think she's going to be much of a favorite. I would say she's probably going to be minus 170, minus 160.
Let's see.
Somewhere around there.
So it's currently on FanDuel, D-Rose. Kayla Harrison minus 180, Amanda Nunes plus 140. On DraftKings, Amanda Nunes is plus 150, but same minus 180 for Kayla Harrison.
So about the same. Well, I was thinking, but the lines are flipped. That's interesting. I mean, Nunes off 2 years. I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah. Also on UFC 324, we got Sean O'Malley versus Song Yadong. It was rumored to be on this last card of the year, huh? And then, the card got announced, and, we had no Sean O'Malley. But here we go. First card of the year versus Song Yadong. We've already kind of talked about this, quite a little bit. Do you need to say anything else, or anything else there you want to talk about? Sorry. Talk about? I burped.
Well, really, just the Harrison and Nunes, that line. That's interesting on that bet line. I'd like to see where everything stands once fight week comes. That's the only thing about UFC betting, especially lines so far ahead. Because man, I would really like to see if that line kind of comes down any come fight week.
All right. Also, we got Umar Nurmagomedov versus Davison Figueroa. Arnold Allen versus John Silva, which we talked about last week. We got Rose Namajunas. What? Now I'm confused, D-Rose. Because it says Namajunas versus Grasso there, but we just now saw today it's going to be fucking Namajunas versus Natalia Silva. Interesting.
I did think I saw Dana say it was Grasso, but I know you had just shown me the Natalia Silva thing, so it wouldn't have surprised me. But
yeah, and then we got Derek Lewis versus Waldo Cortez Acosta, dude. Man, I feel bad for Derek Lewis there. Man, we hadn't seen him in a little bit. He's just gonna come in here and get knocked out, man. It's like, come on, T-Lou.
I mean, he's been the one that's been calling for that fight. That's what I said. From the last podcast we talked about WCA was Derek Lewis has actually been calling for that fight for a little bit. I was surprised that the UFC hadn't made it, but looks like they listened, and now they're making the fight.
Yeah, man. Did you see this? Where I saw this and I kind of laughed a little bit. I'm like, this can't be real. It looks like Ronda Rousey is going to be competing against Katie Taylor in a boxing match, dude.
I mean, I just can't believe anything like that would actually happen. I mean,
who's letting her?
Ronda Rousey boxing. I mean, we saw the shadow boxing. Like, dude, yeah, no, we've seen enough of the shadow boxing. We know damn well she ain't boxing. If she's talking about all the CTE that she sustained and all that, let's go. Nah, you need to get the one from man. I cannot remember which fight it was. It might have been the Holly Holm fight. It was either the Holly Holm fight or the Betchka fight where she was doing. It was like for that fight promo where she was doing the shadow boxing, dude. It was so like it looked like she was trying to twerk. and she was like shaking her arm, and she didn't know what to do with her arm as she was shaking. But especially when she talks about all the CTE that she sustained and all that stuff, I know damn well she's not going to take a boxing match. The hell.
Yeah, that would be kind of wild. But yeah, that's the biggest news that has came out. So let's get to the chat, see what you guys got to say. We got Puckered in here. Well, with the let's hear the dogs. We'll get to them, man. We'll get to them. And then so many close fights on this card. Indeed. We got Dave asking how them Cowgirls are, dears. I know they play tomorrow, so you gotta support them.
Hey, we own, baby. If they beat Detroit, we own, because the rest of that schedule is not too bad to where I think they can make a little run.
All right. Also, does Justin retire if he gets finished by Patty? I think if he loses this next one, he's retiring either way. Yeah.
Yeah. I think there's a good chance, just because I really just think Justin at this point, he's kind of, to me, he's almost in a kind of like that DC mode where he kind of wanted to be either title shot or bust. And look, I understand, he's at a point in his career where, he ain't gonna have too many more fights. He wants to try to become a champ before he officially steps away from the sport. So, but I could see if he was to lose, his climb's gonna be a little bit further, and I could just see him at this point in life not wanting to basically have to retake that path again.
That's fair. And do you think Justin was owed that off beating Fiziev, taking the fight at UFC 300? No. Nope. But at this point, like, UFC kind of treats Poirier and Gaethje kind of like MMA royalty, as they should be, though. Just fan favorites that went in there and just gave great fights. So I think UFC wants to do right by Justin Gaethje on his way out, and kind of makes sense, dude.
I would not be surprised though if Gaethje had kind of gotten, not of course anything official, but like, hey, like a head nod, like, hey, if I do this, if I take the fight against Fiziev, and I was supposed to fight Hooker, and now I'm rematching Fiziev when I really don't have to. Maybe he did get maybe a little head nod agreement in there. I would not be surprised with his agent being Ali if that was the case.
Yeah. Dave asking if you've heard of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
Yes, sir.
Volk is an IG chef now, right? Do you guys think UFC is ruined?
It's funny. That's how a lot more people know Volk, is him being the IG. I think he ended up saying that like in an interview, that more people know him from basically being Chef Volk versus the fighter Volk. I was like, this is crazy.
Yeah, wild, man. Do you guys think UFC is ruined when it comes to meritocracy? No, because Ankalaev got a title shot, dude.
Yeah, but look how many fights he had to win to finally get a title shot. I mean, look, none of us wanted to see him get it, but he what was it? The 12 fights he was undefeated for before he ended up getting I guess against Pereira. He ended up getting the shot against Yan, blew it, and then they were like, please somebody beat him. Please somebody beat him so we don't have to see him in a title fight. Then he ended up getting another one afterwards. But no, I don't think necessarily. I think early on in this Paramount era, I think they're trying to kick off these cards with a banger. And plus, I mean, it's not even necessarily the matchups that we're upset about. It's just that the process of how they're going about it is weird. It's just like, obviously there's contenders that are a little bit more deserving than Diego Lopez, and then there's no reason for an interim with Patty and Justin Gaethje. But I think they're trying to kick off this Paramount era with a bang, and some of the fights that they've announced so far. I mean, I'm not upset at the fights themselves, just the process and how they were announced.
That's fair. Just want to ask you guys if they would make back $7.7 billion like they put on the mega fights. Not in the first year, and like Antoine, that's a lot, man. All right, we got curvated big bet. It seems like he just wants some attention in here. Anyway, well, you got your attention, pal. Anyway, let's move on to the fights for this weekend. we've got UFC 323. Merab Dvalishvili versus Piotr No Mercy Yan. Number 2. Let me share my screen real quick. I think I need to share.
It's a banger of a card this weekend, dude. Like I'm pretty pumped up. I mean, the UFC people have been giving the UFC crap over the last, couple of months or so. I know some of the Apex cards, they've been a little rough, and I've been wanting to see the UFC get out of the Apex for a little bit now too. But hey, these last couple of pay-per-views, they've delivered. And even though this might be a hardcore delight this weekend, it's still a banger of a card.
Indeed. So let's get into it, man. So this upcoming weekend, we have UFC 323 taking place at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. We've got 14 fights to go over. The prelims start at 6 p.m. East Coast time there, so set your clocks. It also going to be starting an hour early when they move to Paramount, which is also pretty cool as well. But in the main event, we've got Merab the Machine Dvalishvili taking on Piotr No Mercy Yan. Co-main event, that's for the Bantamweight Championship. For the co-main event for the Flyweight Championship, we've got Alexandre the Cannibal Pantoja taking on Josh the Fearless Van. Featured fight of the night, we got Brandon the Assassin Baby Moreno taking on Tatsuru. I'm happy, thank you. Tara, we have Henry Triple C Cejudo taking on the Butt Vapor Peyton Talbot. We have Jan Blachowicz taking on Russian Anthony Smith Bogdan Guskov. We have Grant Dawson taking on Manuel El Loco Torres there. We have T-Rex Terrence McKinney taking on Chris Duncan. I almost said Christian Leroy Duncan, but they usually put them on the same card. Not this time, though. We've got Macy, the Future Barber, taking on Killer Karina Silva. We've got Faris Ziam taking on Nazim Nasty Naz Sadikov. We have Marvin Vittori taking on Bruno the Hulk Ferreira. We have Edson Barboza taking on the returning from retirement, Jalen the Tarantula Turner. We've got Ibo Aslan taking on Iwo Barnetsky. We have Mansur Abdul Malik taking on Antonio Trocali. Been, winning poker tournaments and banging Mackenzie Dern. I don't know why he's fighting, but anyway. And then we have Muhammad Naimov taking on Ultimate Fighter winner Marion Santos, dude. So what's your thoughts on the card as a whole, man? I give this a solid B+. I have no hate to this card, man.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. B+. Like I said, I think this might not have the star power name value or anything, but I think from top to bottom, I think it's a banger of a card. Hardcore's delight, you can say, and I think there's a lot of matchups on here that I'm excited about. There's big names in the division. People who we haven't seen in a while. And, young contenders coming up, old faces who have been around for a little bit. So you got a little bit of everything. And I'm with you. I think it's a B+ as well.
Mm-hmm. All right. That's fair, man. So with that being said, I'll share this tab instead and we'll get to the picks, my guy. So first fight of the night is going to be Muhammad Naimov taking on Marion Santos. Muhammad the Hillman Naimov is 13-3 overall. While Marion Santos is 16-1 over. I want to move this over here so I can see what I'm looking at while this is on the screen still. Anyway, Muhammad Naimov, out of his last 5 fights, is 4 wins, 1 loss. His 1 loss was it Felipe Lima? Yeah, Felipe Lima on short notice, 3rd round rear naked choke there. Lost some money there. I know a lot of you guys made some money there, but he is 31 years old. 5'9" and a 70-inch reach, while Myron Santos, the legend, if you will, 16-1. His only loss was an LFA against Van Argueta, even though this Francis Marshall one was, was one that I don't think anyone thought Myron Santos won that fight. Anyway, he is 25 years old.
Even Myron Santos.
Right? Right. He is 5'7" and a 72-inch reach. So it looks like Muhammad Naimov going to be a little bit taller there, but he will be at a reach disadvantage. Kind of odd because I think of Myron Santos as a tall guy, dude. It wouldn't surprise me if they are directly the same height on Saturday night, if I'm going to be real. But I think for me to sit in a contest about who's more hairy and who cheats more. This is a fight. And although the cheating does help you win, I just feel like getting into distance against Myron Santos is going to be a little bit tough, especially when Muhammad Naimov doesn't really he just doesn't really do a whole lot. You know, he'll stand back, try to counter you with like fucking spinning shit, but Myron Santos is going to be on the jab the whole time in his face. So I just think Myron Santos is going to outland him, which is why I'm going to go Myron Santos to win this fight via decision. Man, what's your thoughts here?
Yeah, I think this one, there's potentially a reason this fight's kicking off the card. I think there's a chance that this fight could be a little bit slower. So, for me, Myron Santos, he's more the balanced kind of kickboxer type. I know, I believe he does like Muay Thai, but I know he's got that nice bladed stance. He throws good kicks. He's got good jumping knees. He's got that that kind of counter left, kind of look like Alex Pereira left hook a little bit. Not saying that he has the power like Alex Pereira, but he does like that left hook. But and Muhammad Naimov, he likes to mix it up with the wrestling and the striking. But I am with you that his striking isn't the most polished, and he doesn't really set it up that well to try to use his grappling. Myron Santos can be taken down though, so that is where I worry a little bit, because if he was able to get taken down a decent amount by Francis Marshall down at 145, Naimov could potentially give him some problems, man. But I think as long as he so this is okay. So this is at 145. Okay. Because didn't he take a fight at 155 against?
Yeah.
Sadiq Yusuf.
Sadiq Yusuf, yeah.
Okay, so I did not know if he was going to stay up at 155 or not. So I think I thought that was my thing. But I still think he's quick. He's got good striking. I'm going to go Myron Santos here by decision. But in terms of betting, I'm not going to be in anything of significance on this fight, because I can see it going the other way as well.
That's fair. That's fair. Moving on to the next one, we have Mansour Abdul Malik taking on Antonio Tricali. Dude, first of all, the stunt that Mansour Abdul Malik pulled with a Cody Brundage fight last time, dude, I will never get over that. It's like neither one of them did shit for the first 2 rounds. And then fucking round 3, it's like then they fought how they always fought. So I think that's a fight that needs to be looked into personally. But with that being said, Mansour Abdul Malik has had 2 fights in the UFC now, right? Or no, 3 fights in the UFC. But the over under here is fucking set at 1.5, dude, and I'm terrified to take the under because his last 2 fights went over 1.5, dude, and I was just punching the air because I was pissed off, dude. But at the same time, he's fighting Antonio Tricali, that's out there winning poker tournaments, banging Mackenzie Dern, number 69 in the world. What a playboy, dude. I mean, like, what are we doing? Like, why is he taking this fight, dude? You're winning hundreds of thousands of dollars playing poker, and you're banging Mackenzie Dern, dude. Why do you want to fight? This guy's just dumb, if I'm going to be honest. So he's just ass. He's a black belt and got standing guillotined by Trayshawn Gore, dude. Like, what are we doing? I gotta go Mansour Abdul Malik to knock him out in the first one, dude. But if this goes into round 2, I'm not going to be surprised one single bit, dude. What's your thoughts here?
Yeah, I think you did a good job at summing it up pretty well. But I will say, I mean, Tricali, he did get standing guillotine by Trayshawn Gore, but didn't he take the Pirate? Didn't he take him to the third?
To the third,
yeah.
round, I think.
Yeah, he took him to the third. So I would not be surprised if this fight ended up going over. I still think that Tricali's not that good, but he's proven to be at least a little durable. And Mansour Abdul Malik, it's still a little green. He's a little fresh to the game. You can see that a little bit in that Brundage fight. I'm going to go Mansour Abdul Malik round 2 KO. But I'm definitely this one betting wise. Hell no. I'm staying as far away from this fight as I can. I know you're talking about taking the over under. No, thank you.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Moving on to the next one, we've got Ibo Aslan taking on Iwo Barninski. We have the last Ottoman, Ibo Aslan, is 14-3 overall. Out of his last 5 fights, he is 3 wins and 2 losses. Lost against Billy Alicana. Dude, that fight was bullshit. Like, they just stood in front of each other. Like, what? One that could be looked into as well, man. I don't understand how Ibo Aslan, goes out there and throws heat for 3 rounds every other fight, but just looks Billy like Alicana in the face for fucking 3 rounds and throws like 20 strikes the whole fight. So he deserved to, they both deserve to lose that one, like, if I'm going to be honest, but it is what it is. He did lose against Iwan Kutalaba via arm triangle, which I cashed on that one, dude. I was just happy that I took the under 1.5 there. He did beat Rafael Sequeira, which is ass, in like a punch, and then knocked out Anton Turkali in the 3rd round in his UFC debut. And that was on the Contender Series. He is 29 years old, 6'3" and a 77.5-inch reach. But Iwo Barnecki is 6-0 from Poland. Coming off Contender Series, he did knock out Muhammad Ali. But the Brazilian one, he is 27 years old, 6 foot and a 73-inch reach. So going to be a little bit shorter, Iwo Barnecki. But, I think he's the better fighter here, dude, because you look into him a little bit, you realize that he has 20 amateur MMA fights as well. So he is 6-0, but he also has 20 fights before this. So, we can't take that out of consideration as well. I'm going to go Iwo Barnecki here to knock out Ibo Aslan. Are you I booing or are you I wooing? At the end of the day, I'm going to be I wooing, because booing is not fun, dude. But I don't know how much money I might have on this fight. Let's go round 1 knockout, dude. What's your thoughts here?
Ibo versus Iwo, the matchup of the century. Who would have thunk it? But I think for me, Ibo, you go back to that Alicana fight, and that fight was rough, man. Just really had nothing to offer. And I know Kutalaba's been around for a little bit, but for him to get taken out by Kutalaba the way he did, I don't have any confidence in Ibo Aslan, emphasis Aslan. I'm going to go Iwo here. Iwo. I'm going to go Iwo here. I'm going to go round. I'm going to stick with you. I'm going to go round 1 KO here.
That's fair. Moving on to the next one, we have Edson Barboza taking on the returning from retirement Jalen Tarantula Turner. Edson Jr. Barboza is 24-13-0 overall out of his last 5 fights. 3 losses, 2 wins. Lost to Jakar Close, lost to Lerone Murphy, won against Sadiq Yusuf, won against Billy Corntillo, and lost to Thug Nasty Bryce Mitchell. He is 39 years old, 5'11" and a 75-inch reach, while Jalen Turner, coming back from retirement, out of his last 5 fights, 4 losses, 1 win. Lost against Ignacio Bahamondes, lost against Renato Moicano. He did beat Bobby Green. He basically killed Bobby Green and took a few years off his life. He lost to Dan Hooker via split decision and lost to Mateusz Gamrot via split decision. He is 30 years old, 6'3" and a 75-inch reach. D-Rose, this is the fight. I can't help myself but betting Jalen Turner in every parlay that I have, but it's just a combination of where these two guys are in their careers. Like, Jalen Turner's coming back from retirement, but he's 30. As where Edson Barboza, I believe, is retired a couple times now, and he's 39, dude. He's 40 years old. And, dude, these last 2 fights were just – even the Sadiq Yusuf fight, dude, he's taken so much damage in these last 3 fights, and that's not even counting, the entire rest of his career, man, like the Justin Gaethje fight, the Kevin Lee fight where fucking Kevin Lee came back, fucking finished him late, dude. It's just like there's so many fights that Edson Barboza has just taken so much fucking damage. Right? Dude, at 40 years old,
Lerone Murphy. Dude, go back. Right? Dude, Lerone Murphy beat the snot out of Edson Barboza.
Even the fight that he won here, Sadiq Yusuf dude basically killed him in the first. I'm surprised the ref didn't stop it. Probably Jason Earnhardt in there, to be honest.
Yeah. Because Sadiq did 10-8 him on everybody's scorecard in the first round. In that fight. So yeah, he did beat the snot out of him in the first round.
It just hasn't looked good. As where in Jalen Turner's losses, man, he drops Mateusz Gamrot. The fight, Jalen Turner kind of gasses late. He kind of keeps getting taken down, ends via split decision, but he hurt Gamrot. Against Dan Hooker, dude. Dropped Dan. I know he not officially he didn't drop Dan Hooker, but you go back, you watch that fight, he dropped Dan Hooker. Not only did he drop Dan Hooker, he broke his face with the head kick. Fight could have been over there. He has a win against Bobby Green. All right, cool. The Renato Moicano fight, once again, dude, drops him at the end of the first round. If he just would have landed 2 follow-up shots, he would have won that fight. But instead, he walks away. Herb Dean, don't stop it. And Renato Moicano comes back in the second, takes him down. Jalen Turner starts the gas. And it's like, dude, he's got he has 9 losses, but out of his last 5 fights, he has 4 losses. He could have won 3 of those fights if, a judge would have looked the other way, or he just would have finished, dude. I just feel like he has so much potential. I don't know what he had going on, why he wanted to step away. But I think he's back, man. I think he head kicks Edson Barboza. It probably knocks him out in the first round. If you are on the Edson Barboza side, I suggest that you wait until after the first round to bet him, because in his last 3 fights now, he just got his shit kicked in the entire first round. And then Jalen Turner don't really have much past the first round at this point. So if we're being real here, if you're on Edson Barboza, wait until after the first round, because I'm sure, though, the money line is going to be way better than plus 220. It's probably going to be about plus 1,000, and that's when Jalen Turner is going to start to fall off. So, instead of betting, pre-fight, let's save yourself some cash, because he could get smoked in the fucking first round. So at least let's try to get a better price if you're on the Edson Barboza side. Anyway, what about you, D-Rest? Which way are you going?
Well, I would advise maybe, just because Jalen Turner, he did get smoked by Ramones in the first round in their last fight. And he was
a submission, though. He got triangled, man. You think Edson Barboza is coming out here to triangle anyone?
No, but that spinning wheel kick, man, that thing, it's quick, it's dangerous. And yeah, you just never know.
40 years old now. Don't move that quick.
Yeah, no. But no, and you know me. I'm not a Jalen Turner. I call his flaws where I see them. And, I've picked against him in a lot of different fights. And to be fair, I have been right in most of those instances that I picked against him, just because you can see some of the flaws, even though he does have a lot of talent. But I think this is a matchup that basically lets me know that the UFC has a lot of respect for Jalen Turner, because they're willing to give him a guy who I think that they have a lot of respect for in Edson Barboza. And kind of like, to me, this is a get-right fight for Jalen Turner here. This is a get-right fight for him to try to, get himself back into shape. I know he's been off for a year. I know he said he had a little bit of a spiritual awakening. So I don't know if maybe it was the thing, because maybe where he was just losing and he needed to try to find a different way in life. But good for him to have that spiritual awakening to, try to follow God and, doing his thing. But, just as far as him fighting and everything, I think he should be able to get the job done here. I'm with you. I think first round KO. Edson's has taken a lot of damage over the years, and Jalen Turner is explosive in that first round, and that's typically where you can get Edson the most vulnerable.
So you're going round 1 KO for Jalen Turner?
Yeah. Yep.
All right.
Round 1 KO for Jalen Turner.
All right, fair enough. Moving on to the next one, we have the Italian Dream, Marvin Vettori, taking on Bruno the Hulk Ferreira. This is another one, kind of like the last one, dude, where it's like Marvin Vettori's just lost 4 of his last 5, He's 32 years old, which I know isn't crazy odd, but once again, the damage that he's taken too, dude. It's like, dude, the Jared Cannonier fights, both Roman Dolidze fights, dude. Like Izzy 2 times, man. It's like, Jesus Christ, Paulo Costa, man. I think that's the only
Dude,
fight.
that Jared Cannonier fight, I tell you it every time. I never saw Marvin Vettori get his head bashed in more because I had Jared Cannonier by decision. And dude, that I think it was the second or the third round, dude. Like when Jared Cannonier just had Marvin Vettori against the fence, it was just bombing on him. I'm pretty sure Herzog was a ref in that fight too. Like, thank goodness. And Marvin Vettori never got like actually dropped, but dude, he
was wobbling
pulverized.
around.
Yeah,
wobbling
yeah,
around.
dude, and it was like for a minute too. Like it wasn't for like, oh yeah, like a 30-second. Like no, he was literally stumbling the whole round. Like it was crazy.
Yeah. So he's been taking some damage. Lost 4 of his last 5. Only win was against Roman Dolidze. Win. That was a close fight, dude, and I thought Roman had a chance to win that one too. So, a couple of years later, he comes back and does win that one. Anyway, 6 foot, 74-inch reach, while the Hulk Bruno Ferreira is the opposite. 4 wins out of his last 5. Only loss was to Abu Smagomedov, third round triangle. But I don't think. Yeah, hold on, give me a second. Anyway, he is 33 years old, 5'10", which is too small for a middleweight, and a 72-inch reach, dude. Here's the thing, like, unless I do, first of all, I want nothing to do with this fight fucking betting. First of all, like, I'm staying far as shit away from this fight because it's like Bruno Hulk kind of gasses after a round and a half. Marvin Vettori is too tough to get knocked out, but Marvin Vettori also has pillow hands and no finishing instinct. So it's like, could Marvin Vettori maybe get a submission in the third round? I think he might have one ever, but I think Bruno Hulk's too good on the ground to be submitted. So it's like, dude, I want nothing to do with this fight. I don't want to make a pick on this fight. But if I have to, I'll go Bruno Hulk to do more damage. God, I guess we'll go via decision. I don't like it though, but I don't think he knocked. Can he submit? Nah. Bruno Hulk via decision for me. What about you, D Rose? I'm just fucking fighting with myself over it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough fight to call for me too. I think the biggest thing for me is that I do think that, Marvin's got a lot of experience against a lot of high-level competition. He's fought the best of the best for a long time now, and, he's won some. He's lost more than he's won, but he's won some against some elite competition during that time as well. And, Bruno Ferreira, he's stumbled a few, but he had that loss against Ruzaboyev. And, he's bounced back pretty well. And then, so... not terrible losses. My biggest thing for Bruno is that I just don't know. Is he even capable of going to a decision? Like, what are does he have a decision win in the UFC?
Not in the UFC for sure, no. But maybe
in
life. Let me check and see. Give me just a second.
And the only reason why I ask because I don't want to get on my phone to mess this up, but no, I do think that. I think
never been to decision, won or loss. Never been to decision.
Yeah, I just don't see him finishing Marvin.
He has 9 wins via KO, 1 loss via KO, 5 wins via submission, 1 loss via submission.
Yeah, no, I think. I just don't see how Bruno finishes Marvin Vettori if he doesn't land a big shot early. And I just think Marvin is basically
even if he does land a big shot early, like how? Like, knock that dude out? I mean, eventually the chin's got to crack, right? I just don't know if it's by 5'10" dude that I really don't think belongs at middleweight to begin with.
Yeah, exactly. So not confidently, but I'm going Marvin Vettori by decision here.
All right. So first one of the night, me and D Rose are split on. So let me take this note down. I wasn't ready at all for our different picks, D Rose. I thought we were going to mostly be the same. No, I just wasn't ready, to be honest. So I'm on. This is UFC 323. I'm on Hulk. D Rose is on Vittori. All right, so moving on to the next one. First pick of the night, we have the Smile Killer, Fares Ziam, taking on the Black Wolf, Nasty Nas, Nazim Sadikov. Smile Killer, Fares Ziam, just came back to the UFC, or I don't know if he actually got cut. He was off the roster for a little bit after the T-Rex loss, but since then he has went on a run, dude. Michael Figlak, Jai Herbert, Claudio Poyes, Matt Favola knocked him out, and then Mike Davis. But he's going to decision, dude. Let's be real. And the Mike Davis fight was the one with the paint. So that was I know I lost money on that fight. I'm sure you did too, yeah?
No, I picked Fares Ziam in the fight.
You knew about the paint. All right, fair enough. He is 28 years old.
Yeah, I didn't know about the paint, but I picked I picked Fares Ziam in the fight for sure.
Fucking D Rose had the inside information on the paint over there in fucking Saudi. That's what it was. Anyway, he is 28 years old, 6'1" and a 75-inch reach. While while Nazim Sadikov 11-1-1 overall. That one was a draw to Slava Claus, dude, and that's one that I want to talk about. Well, kind of along with the rest of them, there, dude. He is 31 years old, 5'10" and 69-inch reach. Dude, we love some Nazim Sadikov, yeah. I met him in Nashville. He was just, watching the fights, and I was able to get I had to grab a picture with him. But in his fights, man, it's like, is there a point in any of his fights where he kind of isn't getting his ass beat for just a moment and then just pulls a win like a rabbit out of a hat, dude? Like, oh, you thought you were going to win. Nope. Like, let's just take a look at the Evan Elder fight, right? He was down 2 rounds. He has to finish the fight to win, dude. In the 3rd round, he gets a doctor stoppage via cut on Evan Elder, dude. Didn't even knock him out. Just cut him, brought in the doctor to look at him, and they're like, oh, we have to stop this. So he wins via TKO via cut after losing 2 rounds. T-Rex fight, oh, okay, he was able to last a round. That's fair. The Slava Claus fight. So Slava Claus wins round 1. I believe Nasty Nas 10-8 Slava Claus in round 2, and then Slava Claus wins round 3, so it ends up being a draw. I believe we actually watched that one together too, yeah?
Right. That was on the Aspinall, Pavlovich, and Alex Pereira and Yuri card.
And then against Ismail Bonfim, dude, he's losing the first round. Let's be real. He's losing the first round. At the end of the round, he throws a head kick, hits Bonfim, and then the round ends. And then in between rounds, Bonfim's like, I can't see. I don't want to fight. I can't see. So round 2 doesn't start, dude. It was like he wins by doctor stoppage again just because Bonfim didn't get back off the stool. But it's kind of like we kind of know Bonfim is kind of a gasser now, though. So we don't really have to, look too far into that. And then the last fight against Nicholas Moda, dude, I believe me and you both had Nazim Sadikov to win that fight and probably be a knockout too. And, dude, that was one of the most butthole puckering fights, dude, because Nicholas Moda was roasting Nazim Sadikov to the body, to the head, backing him up to the fence. And it's like Nazim Sadikov just finds the one moment, bam, just like that, and changes the whole fight, dude. So it's like, is he getting lucky? Do we just need to realize that he's that good that at the end of the day, he's going to win no matter what? I can't pick against them, especially not against a fucking Frenchman, D Rose. So give me Nazim Sadikov to win this fight. Let's go 3rd round fucking knockout because he's probably going to get outpointed in the first 2 rounds and then pull something out of his ass to win in the 3rd round, man. What's your thoughts here?
Yeah, for me, I know you were talking about the damage that he's been taking. I mean, hell, you can even just go back in the Nicholas Moda fight where, I think if that fight's not in Azerbaijan, and if Jason Herzog is not reffing that fight, no, I'm kidding. I really don't know if Jason Herzog was or not, but whatever ref was, they clearly had the over in that fight because, there was. He was doing a good job at rolling with the punches, but some of those punches were landing, and there could have been a ref that could have stopped that fight. For me, I just think that Fair Ziem doesn't have that aggressive style. Now, I know he had that nasty knockout against Matt Favola. I really think that was just a height and timing thing where, he can lift up his knees to Matt Favola's head with no issue whatsoever because there was a significant height difference with the two. But he's not necessarily a ferocious finisher. And I don't know if he necessarily has the power to hurt or deter Nazim Sadikov. I do think Nazim Sadikov will have a little bit of trouble trying to get in initially. I think you might see a little bit of wrestling from Nazim Sadikov to try to close the distance a little bit. Training out of that Sarah Longo camp. I think that he can use a little bit of that wrestling. He showed it in that Terrence McKinney fight, and I think he's going to have to use a little bit of that in order to try to slow Ziem down because Ziem is one who likes to control distance and use his striking from the outside. Can do a little bit of wrestling of his own, but would prefer to stay on the outside. I'm going to go Nazim Sadikov. I'm going to go by decision. I think he ends up getting it done. I think he ends up being a little bit more of a wrestle fest. He ends up showing a couple more wrinkles in his game.
All right, that's fair. I'm just glad we're on the same one there, D-Rose. Moving on to the next one, we got Maycee Barber taking on killer Karina Silva. The future, Maycee Barber. 14-2 overall out of her last 5 fights. She is 5-0, but she hasn't fought in 2 years. She had a fight scheduled, a few months ago against Erin Blanchfield. Came up, showed up at weigh-ins, D-Rose, with some new bolt-ons, man. Everyone was like, whoa, where did those come from? And then during her weight cut, dude, something happened. The fight was about to start, and then someone told her that she didn't pass her medicals or something like that. And so that's why she didn't fight. But on the broadcast, they were saying that she just decided not to fight. So I don't really know what exactly happened against the Erin Blanchfield or in the Erin Blanchfield fight when they just canceled the fight, dude. Really weird. Anyway, she is 27 years old, 5'5" and a 65-inch reach. While killer Karina Silva is 19-5 overall, lost 1 out of her last 5 against Viviane Araújo. Everyone needs a vet lesson, though, right, D-Rose? She is 32 years old, 5'5" and a 67-inch reach. My thing is where is Maycee Barber at? First of all, I've never been the biggest Maycee Barber guy. I thought she was always very delusional. I'm going to be the youngest UFC champion. Now look at you. You're almost 28, and you haven't even come even close yet. You lost to Roxanne Modafferi. I know you blew out your knee, but unless it happened in the first round, Roxanne just toyed with her all 3 rounds, man. But with that being said, where's Maycee Barber's head at right now? Does she have confidence? What actually happened a few months ago? On the other hand, we have killer Karina Silva that comes out here jacked up, muscled, and also beats another jacked up, muscled girl, which is why I have my pick for this fight, dude. Maycee Barber likes to come out here, bully these girls. But what happens when she can't? Because she comes up against another physical specimen like killer Karina Silva. What's going to happen? I don't think Maycee Barber is going to put killer Karina Silva out. And if I'm going to be honest, if this goes to the ground, I think it's going to be over real quick. And I think Maycee Barber can just come in, get a little wild. Karina Silva duck under, throw her down, take the back, and rear naked choke. Give me Karina Silva to win this fight. Let's go via second round submission. What about you, D-Rose?
Yeah, I will say that I'm very surprised at how big of a favorite that Maycee Barber is. I think she was minus. I was looking earlier. I think she's like minus 190 or so. If I'm being honest, I thought it actually should be flipped. In terms of I thought Karina Silva was going to be the favorite, just considering where Maycee Barber has been with the multitude of health issues and not fighting in 2 years. But you can see where the books really respect her, and I've liked Maycee Barber. Do I think she puts out the best interviews? No, but I do like her fight style because she does have a little bit of that dog attitude to her, and she does have a little bit of that bully style where she kind of she walks forward. She's not willing, or she's not afraid to take a shot, to give a shot. She's been out there in some wars before, and she's fought on some really good fights at certain points in time. and she has started getting a little bit better, and we just hadn't seen her really show any more wrinkles in her game since she's been injured and everything. But I think for Karine Silva, she's been more active. She's been fighting a lot. She's been fighting, I would say at this point, tougher competition than what Macy Barber has been facing, within her last few fights. I do think that, the better striker overall is Macy Barber. And she obviously probably the quicker fighter between the two as well. But I am with you that Silva is not going to be the one to bully. She's definitely going to have the more size. She's going to be the thicker of the two girls and probably the stronger of the two in the grappling exchanges. So I think Macy Barber is going to have to use a little bit more of her footwork. But I want to go Macy Barber by decision here. I think it'll actually be a pretty decent fight, but I think it'll be a good fight for Macy Barber to kind of come back in, not get hurt too bad on the feet. If she can stuff the takedowns, I think she can get the job done.
That's fair, dude. So it's not my second dog that I have, or I guess the third dog that I have picked now. Ain't too many left. I doubt it's going to be this next one either. So that's our second different pick of the night. I'm on Killer Karine Silva. D Rose is on Macy Barber. Moving up to the next one, we got T-Rex, Terrence McKinney taking on the problem, Chris Duncan. T-Rex, Terrence McKinney, 17-7 overall, 31 years old, 5'10", 73-inch reach. We know how he fights. Chris Duncan, the problem is 14-2 overall out of his last 5 fights, 4 wins, 1 loss against Manuel Torres. Someone that comes out hot in the first round, D-Rose. He is 32 years old, 5'10", 71.5-inch reach. This fight tells me all I need to know, D-Rose. Do I need to say any more? Chris Duncan's going to come out there, stand there, not move his head, and eat a straight punch, man. I think Terrence McKinney knocks out Chris Duncan in round number 1, man. If Chris Duncan moved his head, dude, I would say maybe he has a chance, but it's like every punch he ends up throwing is like this overhand shit, dude, and it's like I think Terrence McKinney's too quick, and he throws great straight. Look how he knocked out fucking Matt Frivola. Just a 1-2 down the pipe, knocked him out fucking 7 seconds, dude. And Chris Duncan does not move his head. So, T-Rex, a round 1 knockout for me. Would it surprise me if he, knocked him down and then hopped on his back for the sub? Nah. But, T-Rex, round 1 knockout for me. How about you, Darius?
I think for me, this will be a good fight for as long as it lasts, and there's a good chance that it might not last that long. When does the Terrence McKinney fight last long? Now, the biggest thing for me is I think, Chris Duncan, he gets hit a lot early, and he can always rally back. You go back to the Charlie Campbell fight, even the Mateusz Rebecki fight. He took a lot of damage in some of those fights, and he was able to come back and get either finishes or end up doing more damage on his end. And I think for Terrence McKinney, he's going to have to get Chris Duncan out of there early, because if he doesn't, we've seen Chris Duncan bite down on his mouthpiece, man. In that second and third round, he might actually get better as the fight goes. I think he's gotten a lot better as well. Now, obviously, the better athlete is Terrence McKinney here. And he's probably the more powerful puncher.
How good would Terrence McKinney do at like fucking Dan Hooker's like little fucking fight promotion where it's like the fucking 1 minute scraps, dude?
Yeah, dude. Dude, I mean, everybody's getting knocked out, dude. Nobody stands a chance. Like, dude, what BKFC and Mike Perry have done with each other, like that's what 1 minute scraps and Terrence McKinney would be. Like, dude, Terrence McKinney would be the king of 1 minute scraps, bro. You 100% nailed that. Yeah, that's 1,000% him, bro. I swear it is. But no, for me, I'm going Chris Duncan here. I'm going to go second round submission. I think he ends up tiring out Terrence McKinney. Chris Duncan is good for that guillotine as well. I could see Terrence McKinney maybe getting a little tired, getting a little sloppy, going in for a little sloppy shot, and Chris Duncan knocking in that guillotine like he always does. And yeah, I think he gets it done in the second round as well.
All right, so we are opposite there, D Rose. I'm on round 1 knockout for Terrence McKinney. D Rose is on Chris Duncan. Round 2 submission?
Yeah, round 2 sub.
All right, moving on to the next one. We have Manuel El Loco Torres taking on Grant KGD Dawson. Yeah, man, I'm excited for this one. This is the one that I probably have more money on this fight than I should, but I can't look at this and not see Manuel Torres do the exact same thing, dude. I've just always kind of thought that Grant Dawson didn't have the best chin in the world. And I cashed out my bet that I had right before this, dude, because I was like, dude, I don't feel right about this. And, dude, ever since then, and now we know why fucking Grant Dawson just goes out there and wrestles like his life depends on it, dude, because I think he knows he has a bad chin. He doesn't have good striking defense either, and it's all it takes is one.
He doesn't really have good striking.
No. And then someone that comes out with the furiosity and excellent striking, the flowing striking that Manuel Torres does. And it's like, let's not pretend like he doesn't have a good fucking ground game, because I think he was like the Chris Duncan fight, choked him out too. So it's like he has an okay ground game as well, man. I just this is one where I do not understand why Manuel Torres is the underdog. And I'm going to go out there and pick him to knock out Grant Dawson in round number 1, dude. I think it's violent. I think he smokes Grant Dawson and takes over his number 16 spot, maybe even propels himself into that number 15 spot in the rankings, dude. Give me Manuel Torres round 1 knockout. How about you, man?
Yeah, I mean, this is it's a tough fight to pick for sure. But this is one of those old school classic throwback type grappler versus, explosive striker. Now, obviously, Manuel Torres is a little bit more well-rounded, and we've seen him get submissions and stuff, but for the most part, he's going out there and trying to knock you out in the first round, just like how he did to Drew Dober. Now, my big thing is, has he kind of calmed down from that berserker type dude? Because obviously, Grant Dawson is not the knockout artist that Ignacio Bahamondes is. But we saw in that Bahamondes fight where, dude, he was just stepping forward with just all reckless abandon.
He did not care, dude. He got fucking knocked down and came back and did the same thing.
Dude, it did not care at all and was just getting walloped and did not care. Which you appreciate the tenacity, because that dude just never gave up. He never gave up and trusted his chin the whole way through until he couldn't. But I could 100% see him getting a little bit reckless because he knocked out Drew Dober really fast in his last fight. Him getting a little bit reckless, maybe getting just a little bit too anxious, trying to land a big shot. Grant Dawson just ducks underneath it and either double legs him or just takes his back, kind of takes him to the fence and gets him down from there. I think Grant Dawson's going to get it done. I'm going to go by decision for Grant Dawson here. I'm 100% not betting this fight because I cannot. I can see Manuel.
The odds don't make sense. So
no,
Grant Dawson is the favorite. Manuel Torres is the dog, but also the over is plus money as well. So whoever's betting this fight thinks that Grant Dawson finishes Manuel Torres.
I mean, if he does, he subs him. I mean, that's what it is. And Manuel Torres, I think the big thing for him is just where he's such a berserker, and we haven't really seen him outside of the first round much either. If we have, maybe the second, and that's about it. But he's such a berserker and tries to get it done so early. We haven't seen him get it done outside of that way. So him winning a decision, it just kind of seems kind of unlikely.
That's fair, dude. That's fair. All right, me and D-Rose split again. Time number 4, D-Rose. Up next, we got Jan Blachowicz taking on Bogdan Guskov. This is one where I want nothing to do with, man. This is kind of like the berserker, as you were just talking about, versus the more technical fighter in Jan Blachowicz. Like the Russian Anthony Smith just fucking throws from here, dude. Just where his hands are at, that's where he's throwing from, dude. Just head all open. So Jan's so much more technical here. I guess, dude, he's 42, though, but that's the point. Dude, this is a tough one for me to call. Yan, 42, 6'2", 78-inch reach. Bogdan Guskov, 18-3 overall, 33, 6'3", and a 76-inch reach, dude. He's going to be a little bigger, dude. I just don't know if I've seen Yan he's going to decision with Carlos Holberg, dude. I think I got to go Yan via decision here, to be honest. Is he the favorite still, too? Because I know this was a close fight earlier when I looked at it.
He was earlier when I looked, but it was like a slight. I think he was like
Yeah.
minus 125 or something like that.
Yeah.
Bogdan was like plus 110, plus
I want
115.
nothing. I want nothing to do with this fight, but I'll go Yan via decision here, just being the more technical fighter.
Yeah, I'm with you. This is to me, this is actually the toughest fight to call. And I'm a fan of both guys. I've been a fan of Bogdan. He's won me some money, man. I cannot lie. Him being a dog against Zach Palga. He was against Nikita Krylov. He was against Ryan Spann. Like, he was underdog. An underdog to Ryan Spann still blows my mind. I do not understand how that ended up happening. Like, I was like, dude, I do not understand this. He's clearly the better fighter, but this is one that's tough to call. Yan is such a seasoned vet at this point. He's tough to hurt. He's tough to get a read on. He's tough to look good against, just to be honest. But I think Bogdan, he's shown a little bit more patience. In his last fight against Krylov, he just landed the big shot, but he wasn't really kind of going all out for it. He just landed that perfect shot against Krylov with I believe it was that uppercut. But I think he was landing some body work as he was going. I think he can get into a little bit of a technical battle here. I think he's going to be the quicker guy between him and Yan. Now, if Yan starts blasting those leg kicks, Bogdan better look out. But I think as long as Bogdan can avoid those leg kicks and avoid the takedowns, I could see him just kind of using his footwork. Again, it's hard to finish Yan, so I'm going to go Bogdan by decision. But I think this one might be a little bit of a lackluster fight.
That's fair, man. That's fair. Move on up to the next one. We got Henry Cejudo taking on Peyton Talbot, man. Triple C, Henry Cejudo, retired, came back, and has just lost 3 times since he's
done nothing but.
Done nothing
but.
38 years old, 5'4", 67-inch reach, and the last one against Yadong, dude, with the eye poke fucking situation, dude. I know you will never forget that fight. I will never forget that fight. I will never forget the words that Jason Herzog came out of his mouth. He said, "We need this to start the third." Why, Jason Herzog, whatever round it was, why do you need this fight to start the next round? Do your job. If he can't see, stop the fight. We don't need it to go to the next round. That was the most shady shit I have seen in a while. But anyway, not a good look from Henry Cejudo because, what are you doing? You're just trying to get a point deduction here. That's all that you're trying to do. And it just not a good look. As for Peyton Talbot, has one loss, came back and looked very good against Felipe Lima, dude. Seems like he can stuff the takedowns. He's learned from his mistakes against Jaime Barcelos. And, dude, 27 years old, going to be way bigger, probably still growing too. Dude, I just see him stuffing Henry Cejudo's takedowns, dude, and he might even knock out Henry Cejudo with like a knee shooting for a takedown or something like that. I gotta go Peyton Talbot. Let's go round 3 knockout, dude. I say he knocks out Henry in the third, but if it went to decision, just him just beating the shit out of Henry all 3 rounds wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, I do think Henry's a little too tough to be finished, but I just think, and I'm not even going to beat around the bush on this one, I just think Henry's going to have an uphill battle here. He hasn't even been like using his wrestling effectively. I think he missed all of his takedowns against Song Yadong. It's not that he's losing the chumps either. He lost to Aljo when he was a champ. He lost to Marab, and Marab went on to fight for the title. And then he lost a fight to Song Yadong. So it's not like he's losing the chumps, but his way that he would win his fights early on when he was a flyweight was wrestling. He outstruck Dominic Cruz and he outstruck Marlon Moraes. But in terms of outstriking anybody else outside of that, he hasn't really been able to do that. And I think for Talbot, good striking, obviously he's shown how good his wrestling defense can be, even just from the Jaime Barcelos fight to going into that Felipe Lima fight.
Felipe,
Now,
I mean, yeah, dude, stuffed all takedowns, and against Angel Cortez, dude, the backflip like defense that he like fucking did to get out of the single leg too. He's so athletic as well.
yeah. And Henry and Peyton have trained together as well. So both of them taking the fight, you can maybe say that one feels like they had the advantage over the other in something. But I just got to think that Peyton Talbot, knowing that he's training Henry's going to be 5'4", and Peyton Talbot's going to be 5'10". Like, dude, that's going to be such a freaking like a significant height difference when they face off against one another.
If he's 5'10" still, dude, because he could have fucking still grown a little bit, man.
Yeah, no, exactly. But I'm going to go Peyton Talbot here. I think Cejudo is a little too tough to finish, so I'm going to go Talbot by decision.
Okay, that's fair, dude. Moving on to the next one. We got the featured fight of the night. We got Brandon, the assassin baby Moreno, taking on Tatsuro Taira. Brandon Moreno is 23-8-2 overall. In his last 5 fights, 3 wins, 2 losses. Lost against Pantoja, lost against Royval, split decision. He did beat Amir Albazi and Steve Erceg as well. Looked like he was back in those 2 fights. 31 years old, 5'7", 70-inch reach, while Tatsuro Taira is 17-1 overall, 25 years old, 5'7". His only setback was against Brandon Royval in a close competitive fight. Yeah, man, this is one that I have trouble. I think I have trouble. I'm picking Brandon Moreno to win this fight, and I don't really have a lot of reasons why. At least I don't think I have a lot of reasons why, aside from Davidson Figueiredo was able to take him down, but the scrambles that Brandon Moreno gets into he was just outworking Figgy there. And I know Tatsuro Taira has probably the best back takes in the division, maybe even the UFC. And once he's on the back, he's just a problem to be there. But I think on the feet, dude, we saw it in the Royval fight. And let's not pretend I think if you measure who hit harder here, I think Brandon Moreno is consistently landing harder every single punch. Now, maybe Brandon Royval might land harder with a spinning elbow or a fucking knee or some shit. But I think punch for punch, fucking Brandon Moreno is just landing harder. And I think he's going to end up bloodying up Tatsuro Taira on the feet. And even if Taira does get fucking Brandon Moreno down 1 or 2 times, I don't think it's going to outweigh the damage that he's took on the feet, just because I don't think once again, striking defense is there yet. He's still young. He just lost to Royval. He looked good against Peace of Mind Park, but that's fucking Peace of Mind Park. Knocked him down. I'm not impressed by that. But with that being said, D-Rose, I think I'm going to go Brandon Moreno to win this fight via decision. Could be close. May go to split decision. Give me Brandon Moreno. What about you, man?
Yeah, for me, I think this is it's a good fight. It's a well-matched fight. You want to kind of get some of the new guard up and trying to get a shot against some of the old guard here. But for me, I think Tatsuro Taira, he's a good fighter. He's talented, power in his hands, and as you said, his back takes are good. His submissions are nasty. He's very tenacious. I just think Brandon Moreno has just fought a lot better competition. I think that he's much more established, and it's not even like Brandon Moreno is that old. He's 31 years old. So the thing for me was after the Royval fight with Brandon Moreno, the second Royval fight, he had mentioned that he had wanted to take a break. And I remember going into that Amir Albazi fight, I was like, man, I think the biggest thing is that for Moreno, he wanted to take a break. How mentally locked in is it going to be? Because it was only 6 months after the second Royval fight. He took the fight with Albazi. So I'm like, how mentally locked in is he if he felt like he needed a break? Dude, he beat the tar out of Amir Albazi. And then, he did. And Steve Erceg looked pretty good in moments in that fight, but that was pretty much Moreno the whole way through. Moreno has dealt with back take artists like Alexandre Pantoja. So if he can deal with Alexandre Pantoja on his back and not get finished, I think he can do absolutely fine with Tatsuro Taira on his back. Give me Brandon Moreno here, and I feel very confident in Brandon Moreno getting the job done, which is why I'm surprised that he's the underdog. But I'm going to go Brandon Moreno by decision.
Fair enough. So Dixon, I
like, you know how like right before you like start a video, you can see like the little like what's about to play. I saw that little I guess like screenshot, and I'm like, oh, okay. I have not watched the video, but I saw the little screenshot there, and I was not clicking play on that, man. I don't need to see that. And then Dave just now saw it. Holy shit, he put a vape up his ass. Oh my goodness, the internet's a wild place.
Dave's like, hey, did somebody say butthole?
Dave just loves the butthole. Oh my goodness. Anyway, so me and D-Rose both on Brandon Moreno co-main event of the evening. We've got Alexandre Pantoja taking on the fearless Josh Van. Dude, this is my main event, man. Like I've already seen the actual fucking main event. I don't think it goes any different. So this is my main event, man. This is a young contender that has worked his way up in the ranks, man. This dude has been fighting professionally for 5 years, dude. 5 years, and then now he's fighting for the championship inside the UFC. That's absolutely fucking nuts, dude. Young killer, dude, just willing to throw down at any point. But he's taken on. In my personal opinion, I don't want to say the best because DJ's still up there, but dude, he's closing down on the fucking DJ real quick. Just what he's able to fucking do to these dudes, like no one's able to stop him. But for sure, the number 2 all time, in my opinion, right now, Alexandre Pantoja at flyweight. I think what really swayed me, D-Rose, was this week listening to interviews. Josh Van seems like he's. I know you have to be delusional. I know you have to be confident to get this far. But he's gone so far as to saying that he's going to take down and submit Pantoja. And it's like, bro, like, come on, man. Like, I don't know if he's ready for what's about to come his way, dude. And just like the Charles Johnson fight, like I know, like he if you go out there with just reckless abandonment, you can get clipped, dude. And I think early, this like Pantoja is going to be a PROBLEM spelling bee champion right there. Going to be a problem for fucking Josh Van, dude. I think fucking Pantoja is going to come out here and get takedowns at will, take the back at will. And I don't know if Josh Van is able to survive that. Now, if this gets to round 4 and 5, dude, and fucking fucking Josh Van has thrown 300 body shots at this point, we know Pantoja gasses. He just fights through being gassed. But if he eats, 300 fucking rib roasters, what's his cardio going to be like at 4 and 5? And I think Josh Van can last that long. I just don't think it gets that far, D Rose. I think we see Alexandre Pantoja with another submission in round number 3. I think he's too good. I think it's a little too early for Josh Van. I know we said that in his last fight against Brandon Royval, and he did win, but I almost feel like him dropping Royval in the 3rd round won him that fight. And you're not dropping Pantoja, man. Figgy didn't drop Pantoja, dude. He's just a different animal. Give me Pantoja, round 3 submission. Which way are you going, man?
Yeah, and for me, I can kind of see where you're coming from with the the Josh Van confidence thing, because I know that, and you have to be prepared for all situations, but and he's even admitted that he hasn't really fought a grappler like Pantoja, but Pantoja is just
when is he training to get better? That's what I'm wondering. Like, it's like, bro,
right.
You're just fighting, and it's like you have to prepare.
And well, especially when you start working your way to the highest levels. When you're taking fights against, even like Bruno Silva and Cody Durden and guys like that, it's fine. And even Brandon Royval, maybe the matchup was very dependent on him getting that win. Yeah, I just think Pantoja, man, he's just seen enough, done enough. And I just think that, Josh, and I do think that Josh Van is going to give Pantoja a good fight. I could see a very much like a Steve Erceg and Alexander Pantoja type fight, because if a lot of people make the argument that if Steve Erceg didn't go for the takedown in the 5th round, that Steve Erceg could have potentially beaten Pantoja. So not to say that Pantoja is unbeatable, and Van can have some chances. I think he gives Pantoja a good fight. I just think that championship experience for Pantoja really pays off for him as the fight wanes on. I think he ends up getting it done by decision, and what I think ends up being pretty much a dog fight. But I do think that Pantoja, his championship experience comes out later on in the fight. He starts getting takedowns, using some back control, making Josh Van really work, getting him tired, and wearing him out. Let's go with Pantoja by decision.
Yeah, man. If this gets to round 4, and I think fucking Josh Van has won either of the first 3 rounds, dude, I have to live bet him. Just because I know what he's capable of with the body work, and it's like, dude, once you touch the liver, that fucking might be what he fucking needs to take out Pantoja, because I don't think he's going to drop him to the head. So me and you're all
sure.
both on Pantoja there. Main event, we've got Merab versus Petr Yan, number 2, 21-4 for Merab. No mercy, Petr Yan, 19-5. Won 3 of his last 5, lost to Sean O'Malley and to Merab. Obviously beat Song Yadong, Davison Figueroa, and Marcus McGee. 32 years old, 5'7" and a 67-inch reach. D-Rose, I would love to sit here and be like, Petr Yan was hurt in his last fight. He had a broken hand. But I feel like every fight week, Merab comes in with fucking staph infection. Something's hurt on him. And it doesn't fucking matter, dude. He just goes forward. He'll eat your punches, take you down. Dude, he set the record for last time on Petr Yan with like 49 takedown attempts, dude. He's just getting better. I don't think he finishes Yan, but I don't think this goes any different. Give me Merab via decision here. I'm not spending any more time even really breaking this down, because we already seen it. I think it goes the same way, man.
Yeah, I think the funny part too is like how for these co-main in the main event, Pantoja and Merab, they're Merab's not the submission threat, but they're both pretty much the same fighter. Like, they both just like kind of walk forward. Their striking isn't the most technical, but they hurt people on the feet when they land their punches. Everybody's worried about the takedown. They're just spamming their offense on you at all points in time. So it's just interesting how both main event fighters, or both the champions in this case, have a very similar style. But I am with you. I just don't, unless Yan is able to land a big shot, and he does have the technical striking to potentially time up maybe a good counter to catch Merab coming in. But I just think that's the only way he gets it done, because if he doesn't, I just think that Merab should be able to run away with this fight. So give me Merab. Fire is hot, water is wet. Merab by decision.
That's fair, dude. That's fair. So that is every pick on the card. Prelims all the way up to the main event. We do have 5 different picks, though, D-Rose. Our 5 different picks are Bruno Hawk versus Marvin Vettori, Killer Karina Silva versus Macy Barber, T-Rex versus Chris Duncan, Manuel Torres versus Grant Dawson, and Jan Blachowicz versus Bogdan Guskov. So no need to, pick which fights, because we got 5, and it's a pay-per-view,
That's a
man.
shaky bunch. That's a shaky
5,
bunch,
and
boy.
we got pay-per-view. D-Rose, I got 1, 2, 3. I got 3 dogs here. I got Killer Karina Silva, dog. T-Rex, dog. Manuel Torres, dog. Hulk might be dog too, dude. I might have all dogs. I'm not even sure.
No, I think Bruno's a favorite, but I think he's like a slight favorite. Last I looked, and then Yan is again slight, not big favorite, but slight favorite.
Gotcha. Yeah, so gonna be a shaky one for me, dude. And I guess your dog of the week is gonna be Nazim Sadikov, because that might be the only dog you picked. But before we get there, let me let you know what my 4-leg parlay is of dogs, D-Rose. My 4-leg parlay. Come on, you fucking thing, load.
Hey, let me know if I'm still here, because I'm trying to pull up FanDuel real quick so I can pull up.
I can hear you. I can hear you, but your face is frozen. But we good. So I do have currently have a 4-leg parlay, $35 to win $1,260. It's 4-leg moneyline parlay. It's Manuel Torres, Terrence McKinney, Karine Silva, and Nazim Sadikov. D-Rose, what's your thoughts on it?
Repeat that one more time for me. I was pulling up the lines.
$35 to win $1,260. 4-leg moneyline parlay. Manuel Torres, T-Rex, Karine Silva, Nazim Sadikov.
Man, it's not bad.
I put $35 on it to win $1,200. Just money line.
Yeah,
dude.
It's worth a shot. Yeah, it's worth a shot. But I was at four legs for that much. That's where it scares me a little bit.
Yeah, but hey, I'm either gonna win or I'm gonna lose. We'll find out. We'll find out. There's only one thing left to talk about, D-Rose.
Show was over, but it's time for D-Rose's Dog of the Week.
Who's it gonna be? Who's it gonna be, D-Rose? Who is D-Rose's Dog of the Week?
Going through a bunch of lines. Look, backs against the wall. We got to rely on somebody who we feel very confident in getting the job done. And there's been a couple of dogs on here that I have felt very confident in getting the job done. But I'm going to roll with the guy, no other than the former champ himself, Brandon Moreno, who right now on FanDuel is sitting at plus 104 right now, which I'm very surprised they hit the underdog in this fight. So that's why I wanted to go ahead and check the lines before I went ahead and made that pick, because I did see where Brandon Moreno was an underdog earlier in the week. And I'm going to go Brandon Moreno. I think he gets it done. Again, that championship experience gets it done for him. And at plus 104, I think that's a perfect line for us to get back in for the dog of the week.
That's fair. That's fair. Antoine says, "Let's go, D-Rose." Yeah, man. So should be fun amount of fights this weekend, D-Rose. I do have one. I think I got like a 3-leg knockout parlay. Let's see what you think about that one. We might have the same picks there. I
have a 3-leg with I don't bet Jalen Turner, but I actually have a 3-leg $20 bet. Jalen Turner, Chris Duncan, and Nazim Sadikov all money line. So of course, a different pick in there with mine versus yours. But
yeah, so currently I have two other bets right now. Is a straight bet, Manuel Torres by knockout at plus 250. I have $25 on that to win back, was it 89 or something like that? And then I have a 3-leg knockout parlay. Manuel Torres by knockout, Terrence McKinney by knockout, Nazim Sadikov by knockout. I have $10 on it to win 690. Just 3-leg knockout parlay.
Damn.
We'll see. I'm probably going to end up playing Karine Silva via submission, so I might have like a little cycle parlay. But man, I need to stop betting Manuel Torres by knockout because I feel like he's in everything I bet now.
yeah, you definitely want to ease up because man, if you blow all your wad on Manuel Torres early in the night, you're gonna be hot for the rest of the pay-per-view.
Yeah, man, I probably will be. But hey, he's gonna come out there and he's gonna smoke him in the first round. That's what he's gonna do.
Just like you said, be careful not to put him in too much.
Yeah, it was a good run. Dave don't think you're gonna fucking win the fucking dog of the week this week, D-Rose. He thinks
nah. We still live, baby. We still live. Yeah. Brandon Moreno, come on, man. How was Brandon Moreno the underdog? Like this is. I don't care what.
Black Wolf should have picked Black Wolf.
Hey, look, I love Nazim Sadikov. I would say Farzam for him is a much tougher matchup than Tyra for Moreno, in my opinion.
That's fair. Antoine, do y'all have a favorite Christmas movie? Antoine, I tell people about my favorite Christmas movie all the time, and at this point, as an adult, I don't even know if it's a real movie because no one else has ever seen it.
but I haven't seen it like fucking since I was a kid. It was a cartoon movie called Annabelle's Wish, right? And it was about like this like cow that gave its voice to this kid for Christmas so he could talk. I don't know. It's such an old movie. And if you want like a legit fucking Christmas movie, I'm probably going to go Jingle All the Way as my favorite Christmas movie. Maybe Polar Express, one of those. How about you, D-Rose?
I'm not gonna lie, I'm not the biggest Christmas movie person. Like when I was a kid, I don't know why I weirdly like Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer. Like for some reason, I weirdly watched that one a lot. Like I would always watch like the Christmas cartoons, like watch some Looney Tunes or just even like some of the SpongeBob Christmas episodes and stuff like that. I was more into the Christmas cartoons. But here actually the other day. We actually, as a family, got together. We made like some popcorn. We watched the most recent Grinch movie, and that one is that one's pretty good. I think it came out in 2018, but yeah, that one was actually a pretty cute movie. Of course, along the lines of the same movie, just a couple of different things that happened in the movie now versus the old one back then. But same concept.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair, man. All right, man. Anything before we get out of here?
No, man. We should be good to go. I'm glad we actually made it through because, man, my apologies, guys. My internet had been acting crazy. I don't know if my Chromebook's finally crapping out. My connection is completely fine on my phone, but not my Chromebook. So I don't know if it's about time for old girl to bite the dust, but we'll continue working on this.
Yeah, man. We only got we're gonna do the one recap next week, and then we got one more card. Also, D-Rose, the last podcast of the year with us recapping the last card of the year, we'll have to do a little bit earlier in the day because I'm going to a Spurs game and it's at 7, so we'll have to knock the pod out a little bit earlier in the day. I believe it's the 23rd, if I'm not mistaken. No,
if it's that Wednesday, that's Christmas Eve.
No. It'll be the last card's on the 13th, so on the 17th when we fucking recap it.
Yeah.
Or maybe we can even do the recap on a Sunday. Whichever one you want to do for the last pot of the year. Last pot of the year, dude. But yeah, man. So we only got 2 more of these bad boys, and then we out of here till January. But big stuff coming up in January. You thought I'm going to stay in Texas forever? Nah. First pay-per-view of the year. I'm flying back to Virginia. Me and D-Rose are live streaming the first pay-per-view of the year in D-Rose's basement. So that's going to be some fun shit you guys got to look forward to. So shout out y'all for anyone stayed around here, got that little nugget of information, wants to, watch a fight companion next pay-per-view. But with that being said, D-Rose, you want to do Change of Cheddar Friday?
Yeah, we'll be there.
All right, sounds good. Me and D-Rose, we'll see you guys Friday for Change of Cheddar. Until then, y'all be safe. Remember, at the end of the day, it's a fist fight. Anything can happen. We'll see you guys Friday. Peace.